to be live. Yes, we are live. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks.
And I'm James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James.
And tonight I'm going to talk about a topic that is just, I've been living lately, and you've been living too, which is, they took my name away. Well, does life seem more chaotic to you than usual, and how are you handling it? So, please comment, and I'll see that for sure that we are, in fact, live, and say hello, and we will comment back, if and when you do. And for some reason, the image is not showing up. But
Elizabeth says hi.
Yay,
Hello,
Elizabeth. So we assume that you're seeing us, or you would have told us. Okay, so would you like to share something about our show, James?
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, you've come to Granny Rocks, where Granny shares with us her wit, her wisdom, and her very uncommon sense. Sometimes it really rocks our world. And we air every Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we're glad you joined us. And without further ado, take it away, Granny.
Thank you. So we've got, now the picture came up.
There we go.
Chaos. Okay, so Elizabeth said hi. And Tracy said hello, and with a heart. Oh, and Elizabeth sent a heart too. And with XOXO. And Catalina sends lots of hearts. So we know that we are off and running. Well, for those of you who have been watching our show, you know that we were evacuated for 3 weeks, and then we came home, and it has been just chaos since we got here.
Evacuated due to the wildfires in Oregon.
Yes, indeed. Amy said, hi, I love you too, and life definitely is chaotic. Well,
we love you too, Amy, and yes, that's why we're on this topic.
That's right. So, we come home and the internet isn't working. There's no phone service. There's problems with the road. It's one thing after another. I mean, nothing is working. My machinery isn't working. It's just like nothing is working.
And even being on the internet now, I mean, we had a hot spot with our cell phone, with a temporary tower by Verizon, and then all of a sudden it goes blank and we got nothing.
That's right.
And then we had backup satellite internet.
Right.
And then all of a sudden that goes on the fritz.
Exactly. We had, on top of everything else, we had a power outage the other day. And in a power outage, you're supposed to have cell phone, but the cell phone went out, and then we plugged in the satellite to the battery backup, which is supposed to be a battery that can keep you going, and then the battery backup died as soon as we plugged it in.
Yeah, it's supposed to give you power for a couple of hours. Nothing. So what do you do?
I mean, but this is just a small part. One day they tell you there's going to be vegetables here, and don't worry about it, and come on, and you can get some. And then we go back for the vegetables, and they say, oh no, we're not doing vegetables anymore. And so then and so then we try to go get our groceries in town, but they won't let.
We have to go 77 miles away instead of the usual 50 to 60 miles.
Well, and it's not just that, it's over a different direction, and they wouldn't let us go to our regular store, and we couldn't get it working. And you know what is just amazing? And this is part of the chaos. People, of course, are out with COVID, and I would say that tech support is even worse than usual. And you will get, the more you ask for help, the less help you sometimes get. And Todd said hi. Anyway, hi, Todd. So, anyway, I broke down several times this week. I was in tears. I was crying. I can't take it anymore. I'm too old for this. I'm really too sick. And now they're saying, there's going to be mudslides on the road. And yes, there are nails
and rock
on
slides.
Right, and there's going to be, and there's nails on the road. Jose said, hi, Mama and Papa. God bless you.
God bless you too, Jose.
It is nice to see your face happy all the time. Isn't that amazing? Well, I was crying a lot this week, but I'm crying, I'm happy, I'm crying.
You're buoyant. You're able to come up from and surface.
And I have a most unpredictable hubby.
Oh, that too.
You just never know what he's going to do next.
My moods change like the weather.
Indeed. And I don't know either. So, okay, so what I'm asking, it's not just us with our fires, and other people have also been having all kinds of natural disasters. fires and fires and floods and God knows what. But also, the government seems a little bit chaotic, don't you think? And the people who are supposed to be helping you don't know what they're doing. And all they want is for you to give them a good review on tech support, saying that they did a great job, so they flatter you and they tell you they fixed it, and then you go and you see that nothing has been fixed, and money disappears from your account and it doesn't reappear. So I want you to know that I have having these problems. I'm sure you are too. You know, you have kids at home. Like here, people are supposed to keep their kids home, but there's no internet. You know,
Right.
so how are they supposed to do
Schoolwork.
schoolwork? And so, and the people who normally help you, it's like the whole infrastructure of society has disappeared. You know, the Evie is as unpredictable as ever. It seems like
Yeah, a
she's
little
making
puppy.
she's, yes, a little big puppy, now very big puppy. So I'm expecting anything now. The chair to get knocked over. So, it seems like, Island says, love you, watching debate. Okay, well, we're going to
Love you
watch
too, Island.
we're going to watch the debate later. We want to talk to our audience
Yeah.
and get some sanity before we go look at the debate. Only God knows what's going to happen and who's going to catch the coronavirus yet. So we have the coronavirus, we have natural disasters.
We have the economic turn down and
We
people
have-
jobless and moneyless.
Right, and the president says yes for a stimulus, and he says no for a stimulus, and he says I'm going to do this, and then he's going to do that, and okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to recognize how many people in the world live like this all the time. Do you remember the hurricanes in Puerto Rico?
Oh yeah,
How long did those people live without power?
over a year.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't stand being without power for 3 hours.
Which is what happened to us yesterday.
That's right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
and then there was no power before that, but now there is
Yeah,
power.
there was no power for 3 weeks.
But,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not used to this. This isn't the USA. The USA is supposed to be, like, you know, stable, and things are supposed to work, right? The trains are supposed to run on time. So it's very, very distressing when all the structures that you rely on are stressed, and people can't do their jobs or don't know their jobs or are incapable of functioning. And then you talk to people that say, we'll definitely help you, and then they disappear and they really don't know how. Well, the good news is that the fire is pretty much suppressed.
Yeah.
And we have maybe 75% containment of our fire. But we met a woman yesterday who's from Wyoming.
Yeah.
How many square miles of fires were there? Amazing. Amazing.
Something like 173,000 square miles.
Whatever it was, it's just mind-boggling.
I'm not sure whether it was miles or acres. But
Well, we have 173,000 acres. So it's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
So it's like all the things that we rely on are not there. And that makes us very nervous. And the question is, are we there? How sane are we staying in the midst? And I'm finding myself sometimes very powerful and sane, sometimes just falling apart and weeping. It's not just that. We're trying to figure out whether we should leave our home. We're going to put it on the market. Now we have to figure out how to move, and there's nobody here to help us to get things done. And that you can't really rely on things being the same. Now, I say this is a really good experience because there are people around the world who go through this all the time. And how nice it is that we get a little bit of that. You know, The United States, we drop bombs, we invade, we do all kinds of things, that
Impose our
nobody...
will on
That's right.
others.
That's right. Fazil says, watching from home, good for you. So there it is. We do things. Oh, stay safe, you both. Well,
Thank
we
you,
are
Fazil.
trying. In fact, we are going out way more than we ever did because we have to try to figure out how to get our needs met. And we ended up driving to try to get some groceries yesterday. And by the time we got the groceries, it was so late and we were so tired. We got lost. We didn't even come home.
We slept overnight in our motorhome.
Right, in our little 19-foot van that we spent 3 weeks in. And so it's really good to have that experience that so many people in life have all the time, especially when you're poor. And you don't have power, you don't have any control, and things are chaotic. And you never know if, you're going to be subjected to racism or sexism or assault. It happens all the time. So what happens to us emotionally when we are absolutely not able to rely on anything? And then we say, well, okay, I can rely on myself, I can rely on my family, but supposing your family members go off the deep end, right? Because they're so stressed that they're not acting normal, right? Mom is always supposed to be mom, and supposing she isn't mom, supposing she's acting like somebody else, then I have to rely on me, and I'm nuts. So, do we get used to this? I don't think so. I think we just become more and more nuts, and more stressed, and more afraid. And then what happens to our relationship with the world? Do we become more afraid of the world? Do we try to control things more? Like, oh yeah, the ego steps in and says, I can control this. Yes, I may have the coronavirus and be in the hospital, but I'm going to prove that I can handle this, that I'm bigger than it is, and I'm going to do that. And maybe you will, maybe you won't. Some people try to control reality when
By
it
the way, I
gets
just want to
chaotic.
mention that first one, I have used that one a lot in my life. I try to use my will to power through it. And
Right.
the result often makes it worse. I become narrowly focused, and I lose perspective.
Yes.
And I lose this flexibility to really adapt appropriately to the
Absolutely
situation.
right. Absolutely right. So some of us try to take control and power through. Some of us go into hiding. I would like to do that. I would like to get into bed and disappear. But how can I do that when the people that I normally rely on are not there? So I might get into bed and starve to death.
Right.
So I may have to go out. Or I may have to support my hubby in going out and facing the world because he can't handle it by himself. So I might want to withdraw. I might want to control. I might want, well, can you think of things that you do when you feel like everything is out of control?
Hi.
Yeah, I mentioned that one.
Okay.
I might want to yell and scream. I certainly want to blame somebody. And, oh, James, can you speak a little louder?
Yeah,
And,
thank you, Amy.
and
Yes.
I might just get hysterical and ask for help. Now, we did something unusual when we got to the place where they were giving out free vegetables that they didn't have any, which meant that we didn't have any food for the next day, and that's why we had to go into town, and that was a nightmare. And I just felt like I needed some support, so I sat down with somebody and just complained and complained and complained and talked about it, and she was very empathetic. Because, I'm sick, I'm old, James is old. We're too old for this, right? No, why don't we move somewhere where they don't have fires, but they have earthquakes. Or we can try to escape from the whole thing. Oh yeah, they don't have, or they have tsunamis, or they have something else.
Or hurricanes or tornadoes.
Hurricanes or tornadoes. Where can you go? Where can you go? Well, I would like to support all of us to go to a quiet place inside, if there is a quiet place inside. That's what I want to help you with tonight. If you can identify with any of this. So let's take a deep breath, shall we? For example, tonight I was going to use the cell service as a hotspot because our satellite does not do well with live streaming. And then it wouldn't recognize the cell phone, and then we had to disconnect the satellite, and then I just prayed that we were going to get on. So I couldn't figure things out because I was too busy trying to figure it out. So I want to say, okay, take a breath and connect to yourself and connect to us. The first thing we have to do is want to be calm. Most of us, when we are at loose ends, kind of feed that energy, like, oh no, we get more hysterical and more hysterical, rather than saying, okay, that didn't work. Gee, that's interesting. That didn't work either. Gee, and then we have to let go. Like, maybe this isn't going to work. We are going to try to live stream every week on our cell phone because we can't live stream on our satellite.
Well, what that means is using the cell phone as a hotspot so that our internet works on our computer.
Right, and it may not be great, but it's better than the other option. Well, supposing it doesn't work. Supposing we got on tonight. Oh, Kathy says, barely hearing you. I am so sorry. Well, I'm going to yell then. This is because we have such a lousy connection. I apologize, Kathy. So we say, what if this doesn't work? What if I don't get to town and don't get the groceries? What if there is a mudslide on the road? What if there are nails in the road and we get flat tires? What if this? What if that? And, in this case, a lot of times we go, what if, and we're just making ourselves crazy. Oh, what if the sky falls? What if? But I mean, when we're saying what if to things that are actually happening frequently, and then what do we have to do?
Get calmer.
Let go.
Let go.
So if we are trying to live stream to you, and next week or the week after or the week after that, you don't see us, then we have tried our darndest to get on the air. And you'll have to forgive us and come back next week. Oh, Amy says, can hear you well here. Is there something off with your volume, Kathy? Well, thank you, Amy. That's really good. Things are so unpredictable. This one can hear us, that one can't hear us. So I want your trust. I want you to know that we are doing everything we can to get on the air with Granny Rock. And if I know that you know that, then I know that you won't feel abandoned by us, that we are trying to reach out, that we are trying to share love, that we are trying to share peace, And if we're not there, believe me, it's because we can't be. And so that's how I am going to handle my what if. Because evidently we are working tonight, thank God. And who knows, maybe next week it'll be working too. But I never know. And God bless Todd. He is doing our Dreams of Peace. We are pre-recording now, and he's going to be live streaming that because I can't live stream music with this cell phone.
Yeah, that's every Thursday night. That's tomorrow night, and every night at 7 p.m. right here on the Facebook page.
7 p.m. Pacific time, I play Dreams of Peace. And there had better be a Dreams of Peace tomorrow night because we're exhausted from running around trying to get groceries. Amy said, I never feel abandoned by you. That's so good. And I want everybody there, out there in our audience to know that we will never abandon you. We just may not be there. And that's because we can't be. And that will give calm to my heart because then I can say, okay, if I can't do it, I can't do it. See, we have to be willing to let go, especially in times of chaos, especially when things are not working the way they normally do. And what will help us to let go, first of all, when we've tried everything and we just can't do it, right? You're trying to climb the mountain, but you have the coronavirus and you can't breathe. Well, you just don't get there, do you, right? So sometimes we just have to let go. And sometimes we let go because we see something wonderful. It's like a puppy that will let go of something you don't want it to chew on by showing it something better. And so I think that's a wonderful thing when we let go because we see something better. And finally, sometimes we let go because we know that it's right and that it's time for something else to happen.
Even if it makes you feel sad to let go, if you know it's right, then that will ultimately feel good inside.
So we need to continue to work on the inside. We need to try to calm ourselves. We need to ask for support. By the way, the woman that I talked to this week when I said, I'm crazy, I'm crying, I need help, it's not so much that she helped me, but she was there and she was empathetic. And she said, I don't blame you at your age and with all that you're going through, that you're feeling a little crazy. And a little empathy goes a long way. So I'm sending you empathy, and I'm sure Sweet Baby James is too, because we know what you're going through. And you send us empathy because you know what we're going through. And we send the whole world empathy because we know what everybody is going through. And we're going to try not to judge each other, no matter the behavior of other people that we don't approve of. That instead we're going to try to understand, support, and help people to do the right thing, the best thing, the most loving thing. So come back next week, and let's hope that we're here at 6:30 Pacific time, Granny Rocks, and Thursday night for Dreams of Peace, where I play the piano. That's Dreams of Peace, 7 p.m., Thursday nights, Pacific time. Did you want to add something, James, before we call it a night?
Well, I just want to add that the music that she plays improvisationally is very inspired, and I always feel more whole after I've been experiencing her music. I call it music therapy. It's more than just pretty music. It's music therapy to me.
That's very cool. And Amy said, empathy, it's on its way to you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you. We all need empathy. Okay, so let's end with a group hug, shall we?
Yeah, group hug.
Yes,
Group hug.
life is way more chaotic. Yes, things are not working like they usually do. Yes, we have to embrace that reality and see where it takes us. And yes, we have to look for the fun and the adventure in what might happen because we're shaking things up. Because if everything worked the same way, we would never question anything. So maybe that's the whole message here, that we need to be open to what may come out of this chaos. And that's my prayer.
Wonderful.
Love you. Please like the show. Please love the show. Please comment. We will answer you. And share the show and come back next week and every other week.
It's been a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.